And we are back. And we just finished watching 1999's Notting Hill with a runtime of 2 hours and 4 minutes. This is rated PG-13 and comes to us from director Roger Michell and writing credit to Richard Curtis, who we love for About Time. This we caught on Netflix, but is also to buy rent on Prime Video. This film I remember seeing in the theater, and I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't my favorite film, but I think this is during Hugh Grant's dominion at the box office as the romantic lead.
You John Mungo Grant.
Yes, with the floppy hair and the awkwardness. And funny enough, in 2025, I guess this doesn't translate well. I didn't have a problem with this film, but I believe everyone else at this table did not appreciate it. I'm going to start with you. This is your first time watching it?
The first time I've ever seen this movie.
And you fell asleep. And don't you lie about it.
No. If I fell asleep, it was for like a split second. I endured this movie. And that is not a misuse of that word in the slightest. I endured this movie.
Dare you? How dare you?
This was not a pleasant viewing experience.
Can I just tell you that this film cost $42 million and netted $363 million? So you are incorrect, sir. You are incorrect.
Oh, yeah, because the mass populace is always right.
Yes. In this case, they were.
Yes.
We won't talk about other days. But this particular case.
Not all the time, but this time, yeah. Not for me. I really did not like this movie. There was nothing really that sharp about the writing or that funny about the writing. There really wasn't many great jokes. The thing that really killed it for me is just absolutely no chemistry between Hugh Grant and
Julia
Roberts. Julia Roberts felt like she was basically a mannequin throughout this entire movie, just standing there with the same expression on her face through most of the movie.
Wow, I didn't get that at all.
There was so much silence and pauses between when they would say things to each other. It just felt so absolutely artificial. It was like they forgot to cut out the seconds where they were like going line, waiting for the next line of dialogue to be written for them. It was just awful. And I don't know. I guess they were really depending on Hugh Grant's charm to
carry the film,
do a lot of heavy lifting in this movie, and it just wasn't there. It just really wasn't there.
He's our main character. He's our point of view character. He starts the film narrating the film and whatever.
Yeah, and I didn't really care for his character. He just seemed like such a loser. He's just an absolute loser. He's like, oh, I own a travel bookstore. Not a bookstore, a travel bookstore. So basically he's like, I own a business. I know it's a failure of a business, and it's a business that nobody really wants to do anything with, yet somehow I managed to stay open. Oh, yes, my wife left me. I don't really blame her. Okay. Yeah, because you're a loser, man. You're a goddamn loser.
I disagree.
You're a pathetic loser.
I think he's just like a bumbling, awkward guy who hasn't figured out his niche. He finally finds his person, and she happens to be like the biggest celebrity of the world, and he's thrust into this kind of weird existence where red carpets and paparazzi are a big part of life.
Well, that's the thing. That even really was. I mean, that occurs like in one fraction of the movie, and then it's gone. They don't really dwell on it. It's just, in fact, it was just like one bad day.
But it really enraged her, and
it did. But
she didn't seem very sympathetic because she attacks him, and she's like, it was your bearded friend.
Your fuzzy or furry friend.
I mean, she wasn't wrong, though.
She wasn't wrong, but she made it bigger than it was.
I mean, she was stressed out. All those photos of her leaked and were spread everywhere and blah, blah, blah.
It was probably the only part in the movie where she didn't have that stupid smile on her face.
Yeah.
I think she has a lovely smile.
She does have a lovely smile.
She has an amazing smile, but it wasn't on display for this movie. She had a little, like a small smile.
It was like she was wearing a mask throughout the entire film.
Well, this is the thing. She is a celebrity. She cannot be her most authentic self, and she is her most authentic self with him in these very fleeting moments because she has a responsibility. to the studios and to
It,
her.
it just really felt tiresome. So many stops and starts and stops and starts. And then suddenly she's got a boyfriend. And
Jack Donaghy.
Jack Donaghy. But he's playing like Johnny Goomba or whatever. And then that stops it, and then she goes away, and then it starts again, and
The
blah,
pictures
blah,
are leaked,
blah, the
and-
pictures leak, and they go.
They finally sleep together. And the
together.
next day, the paparazzi's outside. the
And then
house.
she's gone again, and then at the very end, it's like, oh, I'm here as a girl standing in front of a boy, asking her to love him, and he's like,
asking him to love her.
whatever, and he's just like, no, I can't do that. This nervous, stuttering nonsense, and then suddenly it's just like everybody's like, oh yeah, you did the right thing, and the scumbag's just like, you're a git. And it's like, oh, I changed my
Git.
mind.
I
Hey.
like it. That's one of my
Happily
favorite
ever
ones.
after. Get the hell out of here. And then the crazy run through the city.
So
That's,
I saw this in the theater and enjoyed it.
this
I
sucked.
didn't realize it was that long. It's over 2 hours.
It was, and apparently, from what I read, because I read up about it, it was original cut 3.5 hours long.
I wonder what
they
that
actually
would've been
cut 90 minutes out of this.
Crap fest.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. You know, you kids don't have to agree with your dad all the time.
It wasn't good. You know
Why-
what happened?
Tell me.
I ended up playing Subway Surfers on my phone during the movie because I got that bored.
All right, tell me, what did you not like about it, and what could have made it better? Why did you dislike this film? Tell me.
Because like there wasn't real like romance should be earned and stuff like that, and it wasn't in this movie. Like in this movie, she just like jumped on him. She just like. They like known each other for like a solid 5 minutes now, and all of a sudden she kisses him. Like, who the hell does that?
A celebrity?
Bro.
There you go. Didn't a wise man once say when you're a celebrity, they let you do it?
Please don't. Please don't. Have I told you the story when I was after college, when I was in Europe, some man came up to me and kissed me on the...
I don't
I
care.
didn't even know who the hell he was.
You shouldn't be doing
Olivia,
that.
calm down. Was this in Italy?
Yes, this was
Yeah.
Italy.
I don't care. She shouldn't be doing that anyways. Like, you're freaking celebrity with a boyfriend. A boyfriend.
Well, that's true. Okay.
And it's just like, y'all can't be doing that. Like,
Well, he didn't seem to mind.
like at least, like,
If the gender roles were switched,
probably
how
would
would
be
that have gone?
problematic.
no.
How would that have gone?
That would not have gone. That would have been even worse. But it's just like, oh my God. They should have like at least like known each other for like a while longer than 5 minutes, man. Like they've known each other for so little time, and all of a sudden she's just kissing him, bro. Like,
Well, I think it's like I said. I think that he didn't treat her like this fragile porcelain doll and just treated her like a normal person. And she was intrigued.
oh, like
And that's why she went back to get her bag of books.
Even still, yeah.
yeah, that's just like that's not right. Like you should know the difference between right or wrong. Like that's wrong.
Did he seem not into it?
No, he did. He seemed fine with it.
Exactly.
That's because he's
So
a
she read the-
pushover.
Well, I don't know if he's a
He's
pushover.
a freaking doormat.
I don't know about, well, possibly,
Yeah,
but he seemed to
good.
enjoy.
Good word, Olive.
He seemed to enjoy her and the fact that she kissed him.
Yeah, well, she's the most famous actress in the world. She's
There you
supposed to
go.
be one of the most beautiful women in the world, and blah 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 blah.
I mean, it's not a lie. She's
No, Julie Roberts is very
and
attractive.
she has that
woman. Yeah,
smile
absolutely.
that reaches her eyes.
Oh yeah,
It's
she's
very genuine, and her laugh is great. What do you think, Gigi?
It was dumb. And lately I've like prided myself on not using my phone during films, but I pulled my phone out during this film.
terrible.
Why did you dislike it?
It was so boring.
Really?
I agree.
It was so boring. And I wasn't tired, so I couldn't even try to take a nap or anything. I just had to sit there and watch them like, oh,
If they had,
I'm not done talking. I had to sit there.
Shut up.
I had to sit there and watch them be like, oh, you're cute, or let's kiss. And then they split up, and then it's like, oh, like, call me, or, oh, I have a boyfriend. Oh, I heard you were back in town. Oh, wow. Then they have sex, and the paparazzi's outside, and she's like, man, get out of here. I'm getting out of here.
Freak you.
Whatever. And they split up, and then he's like, oh, I'm walking out to your set, which I don't know how he got that far into it. I don't, like, why didn't they stop him?
Yeah, it wasn't this like our times, so there was probably lax security.
I guess so.
Although at the end there, when he's getting closer, the guy's like, I can't let you go through.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have even made it that far.
He shouldn't have even gotten that far.
It was just like it was just constantly them like getting together, and then something happens, and then they're like awkward, and it wasn't nice. And like Dad said, they didn't have chemistry together, and I can't even explain it.
I don't know how you could say they had any.
It was so boring.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like, I don't know, who had really great chemistry? Don Gleason and Rachel McAdams in About Time.
Like in About Time, the two leads in About Time had excellent chemistry. When they talked to each other and they were making jokes with each other, it worked. You could see that they were charming each other. Mm-hmm. This, he would say something and it would be kind of funny, and then she would just sort of like smile, and then he would say another thing, and it was always sort of like the same go-to thing where it was like, oh, say something terrible but in a charming way, and it's like, okay, it worked like the first time, but expand your repertoire there, Hugh.
Well, I think his humor was very self-deprecating, right?
Yeah.
And he's British. Their sense of humor is obviously different than ours. The way he says his name correctly is different than how we say his name here in the States. So there's differences. She comes from this life that he has no concept about. She has no clue about him. She doesn't know if he's like some crazy stalker or if he's really a good guy. She doesn't know. I think there's justification in that hesitation and that awkwardness.
That gets thrown out the window as soon as she just kisses him for no reason. Yeah, it's like, oh, I came to get my bag back. No. You see, why? Because you said like something mildly amusing. There was nothing there. They didn't even really have the first time they met, they didn't even really have any conversation. It was just
met in the bookshop.
Yeah, it was just him.
I'm sure she found him funny.
It was him saying random stuff to her and her just sort of smiling. There was seriously no chemistry.
All right.
None. That's what made it so tedious.
It wasn't off the charts, but I don't think that there was no chemistry.
Honestly, that's what made it so tedious to watch. And the fact
I thought it was because it was so long.
Yes, that's added. Imagine it's like, okay, you have to watch two people interact with each other. They have no chemistry, but you only got to watch them for like a half hour. Or you have to watch them for 2 goddamn hours. One of them is, that's kind of a chore. The other one is an unbearable ordeal. And that's what this film, I mean, you know what? I'm exaggerating. It's not an unbearable ordeal.
Yes, you are exaggerating.
I am exaggerating for effect here, but they did not have chemistry, and this was not a good movie.
I don't see that, but
this was not his best work. I don't know why this is like the #1 grossing romantic comedy in England or wherever. I don't know why it made $360 million.
It's sweet. It's cute.
I think this was a film that relied on star power rather than writing, and it wasn't even, it's not like it looked pretty or anything like that.
No, it's just run of the mill.
It was just run of the mill. None of the side characters were that entertaining. Maybe
Spike,
just because he was like such an over exaggeration of comedy relief, just standing around scratching his balls in every scene.
Didn't you say like at the beginning, like, I'm gonna like tell you a story that'll make your balls shrivel up to the size of raisins.
There you go. There's the height of hilarity in the movie.
That wasn't the height of hilarity, was it?
In this movie, yeah.
Oh,
Spike was the only thing that was laugh out loud. And I'm not even talking about like losing your mind laughing. I'm talking about ha ha ha. Okay.
I don't think this is that kind of film.
Everything else was just sort of like
I mean, when I think
funny.
of romantic comedies, I think of subtle humor, and it's never like, it's not like Step Brothers.
You're not supposed to be busting a gut in a romantic comedy, but you're still supposed to be charmed at least. You're supposed to think, oh yeah, I want these two to get together. I never wanted Hugh Grant and
Julia Roberts.
Why can't I remember her goddamn name? Julia Roberts to get together.
Why not?
I couldn't care less. I seriously could not care less. I think part of the problem is you don't get any intro to Julia Roberts' character before you first see her, so you don't really know what her.
That's not true. The whole beginning of the credits is just shots and video of her at premieres.
But big deal. It's not like her character. This is like, oh, this is her celebrity.
Right.
This is what I have to live with.
Right. But that's a big part of who she is. I mean, it's not the totality of her, but it is a huge part of who she is.
The one thing you get to learn about her is that she is a celebrity.
Right.
That's hammered into you pretty much right away. But that's not. What's your personality? I'm a celebrity. No, that's not your personality. With Hugh Grant, you learn, okay, he's basically a loser. He lives in a flat with some dirty guy. His wife left him, chose to leave him.
For
Apparently,
a guy that looks like Harrison Ford.
For somebody to look like Harrison Ford, she must have been real desperate to leave him because she didn't even like seek half the home or anything like that.
Yeah,
it was just like
it was
a cute little house in the middle of London. Yeah, go ahead, keep it. I'm with this.
Maybe
I'm with
Harrison
Ford
2.0.
lookalike. Yeah,
2.0 had money. Maybe she didn't need half the flat.
even still.
That was his consolation prize.
And it's like, oh, and then you get to work in your crummy freaking bookstore. Was it?
He didn't have one sale other than hers.
How did he keep that other dude employed?
I don't know.
He actually had staff, and he's like, we don't really sell any books. So
Maybe he works there for fun.
So we understand his person. Yeah, I could see why you're sort of a self-deprecating kind of guy. You're a bit of a sad sack.
Maybe the majority of his income is from Spike's rent.
I guess so. Maybe he's really swindling this guy. Spike's just an idiot who doesn't realize he's paying for this guy's entire lifestyle. Either way, I didn't care about the characters enough to want to see them get together. I really didn't. And especially Julia Roberts' character. They could have replaced her with a mannequin. I'm like, not even that. That's not even much of an exaggeration. They really could have just replaced her with a mannequin.
Terrible. Gee, what would have made this better for you?
They needed to cut more time off the movie.
Yeah.
You said that the original was like 3 hours.
3.5, right?
Oh, brother. Yeah, no, they needed to take more off.
Was there anything as far as the interaction between the two, like the dialogue that you found charming or witty?
No.
No,
even at the end when there's like that supposed to be emotional scene in the bookstore and she's like, "Oh, I'm just a girl asking you to love me." I didn't really care.
That was big.
Yeah, I've never
big.
seen this movie, and I remember, and I've heard that line.
Me too. I didn't know that line was from this film.
It's probably been parodied in several cartoons that we've seen.
But what could have made it better for you?
I just said they need to take more off this film. It was, I don't know, and improve the writing.
Yeah,
I laughed. I giggled a couple times, but nothing
mostly
serious.
Because of Spike, right?
Yeah. Hugh Grant didn't say anything funny. There just wasn't anything between them.
Really? I didn't think it.
What about the writing or the interactions between them? Did you find charming?
I thought it was sweet. I think he's charming. I found his sort of fish out of water trying to navigate this possible relationship with this woman who is larger than life itself. I mean, she is a movie star. She's not an actress. She is a movie star, right? Mm-hmm. She is in these big budget blockbuster movies. And there's interesting how there's that sequence where he says to her that she should be in a Jane Austen or a Henry Joyce movie.
Henry James,
sorry. And then at the end, she's in an adaptation of something, a period piece, which is kind of interesting that she kept that. Mm-hmm. So she is the definition of somebody who is hidden behind masks and layers, right? Because to let anyone in is to invite vulnerability and disaster, which seems to follow her around. And in the beginning, when he brings her over to the house, to his friend's house for Honey's party, birthday, I guess, celebration, whatever, and they're all trying to win the brownie by being the most pathetic. She goes into a thing about how she diets, that she hasn't had real food. She's been hungry for 10 years. That
I didn't like that scene. I wish that they had cut that out.
really? Why did
Yeah.
you like
I
it?
hated that scene too.
Really? Okay. Tell me why you hated it, and then you tell me why you hated it. Go ahead.
This might be like, I don't know, stupid of me or something, but I just thought it was corny, and I thought that it was kind of embarrassing, the whole thing that they were doing.
Well, that was the point, right? You're putting your worst self on the line in order to
I guess so, but
win the brownie.
they did that in front of Hugh Grant's brand new date, who also happens to be beautiful, world-renowned, popular actress, and it's not just close family. And I don't know, even if it was close family, I would never want to do something like that. It's just, it was so embarrassing to me.
Why did you dislike the scene?
I disliked it because it's a stupid contest to do. And two, it's like, okay, we're going to have some fun with it. So you start with Hugh Bonneville and he's making light of his situation. Mm-hmm. It's bad, but it's like sort of like, oh, first world problems.
Right.
And then suddenly it's just, I'm paralyzed from the waist down.
And I can't have children with the man I'm in love with.
It's
whatever.
like,
Way to lay it on thick.
Oh, God.
yes, Olive. Too thick, way thick. That's like, it's too much. It's like, why would you put that in there? It's like, that's just terrible.
Yeah, I gotta admit, that scene made me uncomfortable.
It's like, why would you throw that in there?
But then they turn it around and they make Will
It doesn't matter.
the most pathetic of the group.
It doesn't. It was like, that's just, when he wrote that scene, why? I'm going to win the brownie.
Are you crying?
I'm paralyzed. Yeah, it's like, what? You made me laugh so hard, a tear came out.
I'm not inside too. Like,
But seriously, yeah, way to lay it on thick. It's just too much. It just shattered the moment. It's like we're making fun. It doesn't belong. And it just sort of kind of took the wind out of that entire let's all get to know each other thing. Mm-hmm. I hated that scene. I really hated that. Or they could have done it in a different way and kept it lighthearted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not done it. I just think they shouldn't have done it.
It just was
I didn't like that scene, and I didn't like the scene where she has a boyfriend all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I feel like
that was
scene
another
It's
thing.
a little weird, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
usually in romance movies, obviously there's the conflict that approaches, and I thought it was going to be the paparazzi conflict.
there was like two conflicts.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
The boyfriend,
and the paparazzi.
Oh,
Yeah, and there's multiple times where they're like getting all close and lovey-dovey or whatever, and then it gets ruined by something. And like one time is already enough. You don't need to do this multiple times. So I feel like they should have cut the boyfriend thing out because what we see him like one time, it was so insignificant. Like that didn't matter. Like
because originally it seemed like he was going upstairs to be with her, right?
yeah.
That was the intention, and then
Yeah.
she meets him at the door, and she's like, "I think you should leave."
Yeah, that was so freaking stupid. Like
Like, break up with him before you get together with this guy.
no, he shouldn't. The boyfriend shouldn't have even existed. He shouldn't have been part of the
agree.
It
story.
served no purpose.
Cut
No,
more
I agree.
time off the movie.
Not
I
even
don't
cut.
think like rom-coms I like because they're sort of like an hour and something minutes. Like 2 hours, I don't want
All
to
right.
see that.
I wasn't bothered by it, but I understand what you're saying and points for that, because I think, yes, if they had removed that whole storyline, it would have tightened up the film a little bit more, and you could focus on other things. Olive G, what did you desperately hate about this film?
I hated the chemistry between the two people. Like, I just hated it. It was awful. Especially with, like, it's like kissing him out of nowhere. Like, oh, like, don't do that.
Yeah.
And, like, don't even start with the, oh, if I'm a celebrity, then I can. No, okay? No. Get that bull crap out of here. Okay? I hated that. And I also hated the fact that it was 2 hours.
Genius said so.
Don't even, okay? I also hated the fact that it was so long. Like,
I also
I'm
believe-
talking.
All right.
I hate the fact that it was 2 hours long, like 2 hours and something minutes long. Like literally, it did not have to be that long. This movie should have been like an hour, okay, or like an hour and 30 minutes or something like that. And it wasn't.
I also want to say that she is a celebrity, so her code of conduct is probably different than other people's. I'm not saying that she should overstep her bounds or whatever,
That-
but
that is-
Just
I
stop.
don't.
Just stop.
Yeah, that's not something that should be accepted or promoted or believed. Celebrities do not have a different code of conduct. They must adhere
They're
to
not any better than
the
normal
code of conduct.
people.
And like I said, if you had gender swapped those two roles there,
would probably be
it didn't matter if you were. In fact, it would probably be even worse.
So wait a minute.
If you were a celebrity.
So
in that
wait a minute.
situation.
When you first kiss someone, do you like announce it? Do you
No, you don't. But it's between two
consenting
basically
adults?
consenting adults who know each other. You're not going to kiss a stranger.
Yeah,
Like
they
she
didn't know
did.
each other
They didn't
at
know.
all.
They didn't know each other.
She didn't even know his name.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. It's not. You're not. They weren't on a date. He spilled orange juice all over her and offered to let her use his sink, which was also kind
fall.
of weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone into some
Yeah,
random
like
man's
he
house.
probably could have just said,
She
"Oh,
probably could have beat his ass.
He
if
probably
she
he
needed
probably
to.
should have said, "Come to my shop, come to the bookstore, and you could use the bathroom there,"
I
rather
don't
than
think there was a bathroom in the shop, to be
It
honest.
had to be.
there's
There has
you
to be.
can't spend 8 hours in a building and not have to go to the bathroom at some
I
point.
mean, maybe he takes lunch breaks and then he just goes.
But either way, it's sort of like, yeah, you go to a sort of a publicish area. You don't say, "Oh, come to my house," and then go all the way up the stairs. It's like, is this?
Am I gonna get
Is
kidnapped?
is this the innocent shopkeeper, or is this the weird old man on the hill luring the
But
Mormons into the?
But doesn't
house?
Scotty Ferguson bring this woman to his house in
Scotty.
Vertigo? He brings her to
Yeah,
and
also
undresses her.
completely unprofessional. But that's Vertigo. Also on film, I wasn't really a big fan of. But either way, you just don't do that.
I'm going to go around the table. We've obviously seen other romantic comedies. I'm going to start with you. What's better than Notting Hill?
About time. Same writer too.
I mentioned that. Pick another one.
I don't know.
Bro, Ryan Lane.
Oh, Rye Lane. There you go. Rye Lane. Much better. Excellent chemistry between both leads.
That's fair.
Absolutely excellent chemistry between both
Gee,
leads.
what's a better romantic comedy?
The Proposal.
A Proposal. Excellent.
Yes, great
Sandy
chemistry.
Bullock and,
Great chemistry between the two
Ryan
leads.
Reynolds, who's
I
And-
love Sandra.
And it's antagonistic to love.
Yes.
Yeah.
it's enemies to lovers, right?
Yeah.
I guess you could say so, yes.
You have that extra layer, and it's still, they're both charming, and they're both charming with each other.
Olive G. Romantic comedies.
Ryan, yes, 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 yes.
What's Legally Blonde?
Five Nights at Freddy's, Olivia.
Five Nights at Freddy's is not a romantic.
It could be. Doesn't he hook up with the girl?
Oh,
The police girl?
I don't know. We saw that movie like 2 years ago, right? I don't remember it.
Already 2 years?
I think it was 2023, right?
I think you're right.
Because it was late in the year, and it certainly
It
wasn't
doesn't.
late
It wasn't last year. Oh wow, time is flying without me noticing.
Thank God.
There are lots of
13
romantic
going on 30.
13 going on
13 going
30.
30 is cute.
Super cute. Legally Blonde.
I like that film.
I know one.
What's that?
Which one?
Banana Split.
Olivia, come on. Have you watched that film?
Yes, I have. I actually have.
What is
I
Banana
know what-
Split?
Yes. It's this girl and this guy break up, and then he has a new girlfriend, and then the ex-girlfriend becomes friends with the new girlfriend. Yes, I believe that's the one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I've never heard of that ever.
No, it exists. That's a thing.
Like in my opinion, I'm pretty sure they like fall in love at the end. To be honest, because
Yeah.
like
The
she's just
two
like
girls?
The two
yeah,
girls.
because she's just like I love you at the end to the other girl. I think
You didn't choose Marry Me. I'm surprised.
I was just about to say that.
like marry me's hot crap.
But it's fun.
Wasn't, but that was also Celebrity and Normal Guy, right?
Yes.
And what else was the idea of you? Was it?
Yes.
That was
Idea
also
of
Celebrity
You.
Normal
A
Guy.
Celebrity.
That was better than this, but it wasn't the best.
don't think it was as long either.
I didn't like any. Maybe I just don't like the celebrity normal person
Maybe,
relationship.
yeah,
movie.
no, I've never really been a fan of that storyline.
Say anything.
I liked
Say anything, yeah.
I love that.
I like Banana Split, so
All right.
Okay,
Good
Belle,
choice.
we heard you the first time.
Good choice.
so it's a good movie.
I've never heard of it.
It's cute. It's cute. We can watch it if you want.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
There's cussing though.
Come on, Olivia, are you serious?
All right, I'm going to go around the table and get numbers. I'm going to start with myself. I feel like I enjoyed it in 99. I enjoyed it today. I really didn't catch all the long, drawn-out bits, but I can see it. The explanations offered at the table, valid. I agree. The whole Alec Baldwin storyline shouldn't have existed. Just tighten that up, maybe make it better. Maybe sharper writing. Again, this is a product of 99. We were different people back then. So I think the things that made us laugh then are not maybe the things that make us laugh now, but whatever. I think it's still sweet and cute and endearing if you want to go down memory lane and see Hugh Grant with his floppy hair and his posh British accent. I'm going to give this film a 6. What do you say? 1 to 10. You're going to be just evil about this, aren't you?
No, I'm not going to be brutal on it. I would give it like a 4. I don't like this movie.
right.
It's not the worst thing you will ever see, but it is way too long. The stop-start of their romance is just
Grating.
And he seems to hold a candle for
grating.
her, even when she's not even in the country.
he's pining away when they're broken up, and
Seriously.
and it's like you said, it was 1999, so the jokes may not. No, if you laughed at it back then, you'll probably still laugh at it now. It's just that the jokes aren't really that many. For one, they're few and far between, and it's more subtle. Aside from Spike and standing around in his underwear and looking all grimy as he is.
Talking about firm buttocks.
So yeah,
Question for you. We're going to pair this with Heretic. Hugh Grant is better at the beginning of his career or now?
now.
Definitely now.
Yeah,
not even a
way
question.
more interesting now. I mean, back then it was always sort of the same thing.
Very one-dimensional. I mean, he did other roles where he's interesting, but this is very cookie cutter of him
he seems to be having more fun.
now.
Yeah,
Gee, 1 to 10.
3.
Wow. I didn't think it was that bad.
3, 2.
Wow.
Okay,
3, 3,
follower.
4.
Fine, 3.5, bro.
You're weird.
I guess the table has spoken. Skip.
Don't watch
Skip
unless
this.
you're looking
Yeah.
to just waste 2 hours of your life completely.
Don't watch this unless you want to pour salt into your eyes.
I don't. Okay.
I guess there are better films in the Hugh Grant repertoire.
Grant. Just say Grant, please.
You sound so ridiculous.
That is how the British say it.
We're not
we're
British.
not British.
We should be, maybe.
Should we start pronouncing it aluminium?
Aluminium. Schedule.
Microwave.
Charade.
Olivia, you were
Microwave.
obsessed with saying that for like the longest time, and it was the worst.
I guess if you want to see something better in the filmography, Paddington 2, obviously,
Of course. And Heretic.
which we are going to pair this with. Also, he was a good heavy in Wonka and Dungeons and Dragons.
I wouldn't say he was a heavy in Wonka. He was sort of a bit of an antagonist. But he was in
there
it
you
for so little. But he was charming,
He was
in
charming in that.
even that little tiny role.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons, great bad guy.
Yeah.
Not,
like-
not.
I love when he plays the bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's over his young, awkward.
Yeah, he's
male
done being
lead.
the charming leading man. It's
Yeah.
it's time to move on to some
I
more
like
meaty stuff.
when he's like the like self-centered bad guy. kind
Like
of.
Yes.
Phoenix Buchanan.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's funny.
He is funny. I think another thing that I want to highlight in this film is the friendships that everyone here had. Will's friends and his friend group, how they got together at Max and Bella's house with his sister Honey and their friend Bernie, and just the loveliness of it. And I'm assuming that they knew each other from college, and these friendships cultivated into adulthood into some of them going off and forming couples like Max and Bella. And just through, I guess, their shared histories, it's almost like they've created this little family in a way, right? And to that point, I want to dedicate this episode of the podcast to the lovely Faye, a colleague and friend from the office. Faye is lovely and kind and exceptional, and I am so sad for us, but so happy for her. And I wish her nothing but the best in her future ventures. You are going to be missed, Faye. Please keep in touch. I'm going to miss your smiley face. All right, so I guess stronger performances in the filmography of this actor, but this is gonna be the Hugh Grant weekend. We're gonna do this and Heretic. Obviously, of the two, go check out Heretic. And that's it from us, and we will bid you all a
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
good night.